In this alternate history, we imagined a Roman Empire that never crumbled. It reformed, expanded, and endured, bringing law, infrastructure, unity, and peace across continents. It absorbed the globe not through conquest, but cohesion. Latin remained the world's language. Roman architecture became planetary, and the empire stretched even into space. Without its fall, there were no dark ages, no feudal lords, no sudden rebirths, no rebellions. Instead, order, knowledge, and obedience. But beneath that marble surface, we must ask, did it come at a cost? The cost of creativity, of diversity, of dissent? The Roman Empire that never fell gave us power, but perhaps less soul, fewer dreams, less struggle, and in turn, fewer revolutions. So now we ask not just, what if Rome never fell, but also, should it have? In history, as in life, falling is not always failure. Sometimes it is freedom. Hi, everyone. Today we're going to debunk the truth. What if the Roman Empire never fell? Imagine you're standing beneath the Colosseum, not a ruin, not a relic, but a towering marvel, newly restored with white marble and golden eagles. The crowd roars, not for gladiators now, but for scholars, orators, inventors. It's the year 2025, but Latin is still the language of science, law, and empire. The Senate still meets on Capitoline Hill. The roads still run straight, from Londinium to Carthago, from Lutetia to Constantinople. The Pax Romana never ended. You might not believe the story, but this is always a warning, not to be taken lightly. So before you get too comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you really like what I do here. Post your city and local time in the comments. Now listen and leave your comments, and let's get started. It began in the shadows of what should have been a collapse. 476 AD. In our world, the last Western emperor, Romulus Augustulus, is overthrown by a barbarian chieftain. But not in this world. In this world, the legions didn't disband, they regrouped. Italy never fell to warlords. The Eastern Emperor, Zeno, didn't just watch Rome die. He marched west, sword in hand, and reclaimed it. A single empire remained. From the snowy forests of Germania to the sands of Arabia, the golden standard of the eagle flew, unbroken. With time bought came reform. Corruption wasn't ignored, it was purged. Civil service rebuilt, borders refortified, citizenship expanded. New emperors rose, not just through bloodlines, but merit. The 6th century saw not a dark age, but a second golden age. Libraries flourished, aqueducts multiplied, glass windows shimmered in newly built basilicas. Rome evolved, Rome adapted, Rome endured. The church and the state fused, not in opposition, but in unity. The emperors became defenders of both faith and order. No Gothic kings, no Saxon conquest, no feudal lords, no thousand-year night. Europe remained Roman. Imagine the great cities, not lost, not buried, but brighter, larger, alive. Alexandria, where the great library was never burned, its scrolls digitized on brass-punched tablets, early machines of memory. By the 9th century, Roman scholars debated gravity, surgery, the heliocentric model. The steam engine, not a 19th century invention, but a Roman revolution by 1200 AD. Slaves were freed, not from morality, but efficiency. Machines, spun from Archimedean principles and Egyptian metallurgy, took their place. Factories, powered by aqueduct turbines, rose along the Rhine. Concrete never vanished. Roads expanded, tiered and bridged oceans. The Mediterranean became not just Mare Nostrum, our sea, but the heart of a planetary network. Roman galleys gave way to wind-cutting steel ships, flying sails marked with imperial crimson. Trade was endless. Gold from Nubia, silk from Han-Rome treaties, salt, glass, ink, marble, wine, tin. Markets buzzed in Tarsus, Londinium, Massalia. And where Rome traded, it ruled. The language of contracts, Latin. The seal on diplomacy, SPQR. The hand that delivered order, the imperial magistrate. From the Americas to sub-Saharan Africa, Rome mapped and moved, not by conquest, but by absorption. And yet, all of this came at a cost. The Senate, once a body of wisdom, grew slow. Emperors, once chosen for merit, were born into comfort. The bureaucracy grew vast, its laws intricate, suffocating. Still, Rome did not fall. Because unlike empires that crumble when broken, Rome bent and reshaped itself again. By the 1600s, the empire was no longer a dominion of emperors, but of governors, senates, assemblies. Republicanism, reborn inside the empire, became its savior. Not America, but Nova Roma, a Roman colony across the Atlantic, declared the rights of all citizens, under the eagle, under law, and it spread, not through war, but through language, through code, through roads, through memory, because Rome had never left. Now open your eyes and look at the world of today, not ours, but theirs. It's the 21st century, not of nation-states, but provinces, not of presidents, but consuls, not of corporations, but curiae. The globe is mapped in Latin, Africa Proconsularis, Asia Minoris, Nova Britannia, Terra Australis. There are no borders in Europe, just districts of the empire, from Hispania to Dacia. One passport, one currency, one law. The denarius, no longer silver, now a digital ledger stamped with the face of Emperor Aelius IV. You check into a domus digitalis, a Roman smart house. Your device, standardized by the Ordo Technologicus, syncs with every gate, aqueduct, and carriage drone. Colosseums still host games, but now with holographic lines and hover races. Senators don't wear togas anymore, but encrypted robes of identity, broadcasting votes by retina scan. AliasNet, the world's imperial intranet, connects over 9 billion citizens across Mars, the Moon, and Terra. Yes, Rome went to space. Why? Because a civilization that never forgot how to build, never forgot how to reach. They mapped the stars in Babylon. They calculated orbits in Alexandria, and they launched the first ship from Cyrenaica Cosmodrome in 1984 AUC, our 1231 AD. Christianity never fractured, because no schism split the empire, no Protestant fire, no Orthodox split. One church, one creed, one empire. But don't mistake unity for utopia. Dissent exists in shadows. Some provinces cry for independence. Some scholars fear stagnation. Art is regulated, satire is censored, and the memory of emperors long gone, some cruel, some brilliant, haunt every archive because Rome endures even when it forgets why. And so we ask ourselves, in this imagined present, would you trade chaos for control? Would you exchange diversity for uniformity? Would the empire's light blind us? History is full of hinges, small moments, quiet choices, a general's hesitation, a senator's betrayal, a city left undefended. In our timeline, the Roman Empire shattered. Goths sacked Rome. Vandals looted Carthage, roads decayed, laws faded, learning withered. But what if those hinges never swung the wrong way? What if Stilicho had not been executed? What if Alaric was bought with gold instead of defiance? What if Theodosius had lived 5 more years, and his sons ruled united? We're told Rome had to fall, that no empire can last forever, that decay is inevitable, that history is a cycle. But cycles are choices repeated, and this empire chose differently. With no fall, there was no feudalism, no serfdom, no warring lords, no Middle Ages, no centuries where progress was a memory. There were no crusades, because Jerusalem was Roman. No Inquisition, because reason and faith were wed. No colonialism, because Rome didn't conquer to exploit. It assimilated to expand. Africa wasn't carved up by foreign hands, it was elevated from within. Asia wasn't discovered, it was already in dialogue. The Americas, not enslaved, but welcomed as provinces. No genocide, no plantations, no scramble for supremacy. Instead, the empire absorbed. Tribes became citizens. Languages became dialects. Borders became gradients. But what was lost in that unity? Art that never rebelled, philosophy that never shattered, revolution that never burned. Because when you live in a world where Rome never fell, you live in a world where Rome always watches, where order is protected, but at the cost of disobedience. You never need to rise up, but you may never learn how. So we wonder, would we be more advanced, more peaceful, or simply more obedient? What if the price of peace was permission? The sun sets over the eternal city. In this world, it sets not on ruins, but on skyscrapers of Roman glass, temples of data, forums of thought, still named after gods long worshipped. Children play beneath statues of Augustus, not pigeons. The imperial anthem plays before every Senate broadcast, and every citizen still knows the phrase, Civis Romanus sum. I am a Roman citizen. It's easy to be swept away by the grandeur, by the aqueducts that still hum with life, by the domes that still defy gravity, by the roads that still carve the earth in straight lines, toward destiny. But in this Rome that never fell, what have we become? A people united, but wary, innovative, but cautious, prosperous, but quiet. We wear marble masks of legacy, glorious, but heavy. In our world, the fall of Rome was tragic. Yes, but it gave birth to reinvention. From the ashes came the Renaissance. From division came democracy. From forgetting came rediscovery. And so perhaps not falling was not the only way forward. Maybe the breaking was also a beginning. What if Rome never fell? We've seen the vision. We've walked the streets of power, bathed in logic and law, watched empires grow without pause. But now, what if Rome had fallen? And it was better that way? What if chaos gave us the courage to rise? What if disorder birthed freedom? What if empires must end for people to begin? So tonight, You walk away with two Romes, one that lived forever and one that died, so something else could live. Which would you choose?